Hi and welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. Today I'm going to help you sort out the problem that a lot of knitters call a yarn buff when all of the yarn gets all tangled up together when you're starting your knitting. Hi and welcome to Knit with Hannah. I'm Hannah. I'm here with Knitting Natter to help you learn to knit the easy way. There is nothing worse than sitting there knitting or just getting ready to start knitting. You get yourself organised, the needles are ready, and what happens? The yarn gets in a dreadful tangle. Experienced knitters will call this a yarn barf. Yeah, it's not very nice. We don't like it, but it's got to be sorted, otherwise we can't start knitting. There's of course the option to just pull it all out and then chop it off and throw the tangled bit in the bin. But really, I'd rather you didn't do that. It's just a waste of yarn, isn't it? And you might run out of yarn if you're knitting something and it needs the whole ball. So I'm going to help you today sort out that yarn bath and get you knitting again. Let's get to it. Okay, we have a bit of a bath here. The yarn has come out of the centre, but not particularly well. What I'm going to do is keep pulling until I get a single strand. That's the first thing, because then you know that you're all right from here. So from here, I will start looking at what we've got. And looking at this, it really does look like a mess, but you can separate it out into pieces. So we've got, there you go, there's another single strand already. So we know this is connected to that and that, so we can deal with this bit first before anything else. So what I'm going to do is just start winding this around the edge, the outside of the ball. And if we come across anything that looks like a big knot, then we can just look at it gently. And what I do here is just pull it apart very, very gently, and usually it will come apart by itself. It won't be a massive issue that is going to have we're going to have lots of knots or anything like that. It's just got caught in itself. So that's the next stage. It's just gently winding around the outside and just pulling it apart again. You can see that it is actually just quite loose and it's not a massive issue. So that's a good start. Nice and loosely around the outside, and this is the first part we will knit with, so it won't sit here that long, especially if you're knitting something over a few hours one evening. There we go, a little bit more of a knot, so I just loosen it up and it's sorted itself out, and I can go around the outside like that. Okay, that's a good start. Now we've got weird bits here. They are connected, but we don't know where the middle is. We don't know what's starting here. Look, all I had to do was just tug and we've got another single line. Now this must be the very end and the very beginning of the yarn. So I'm going to put this aside there. This is the bit that we need to deal with. Actually, you can see that it is the centre of the ball. You can see where it's still looks like a ball of yarn. There you are. Look at that. This reminds me of Cat's Cradle. Do you remember that? Using the strings, playing a game. So we have got the ball of yarn sat there quite happily actually. So it should fall apart quite easily. If you've been working from the outside of a ball of yarn, or you've had an end of a ball of yarn just sitting in your yarn stash for a while, may not look this tidy, but this is what you may actually end up with at some point. So let's start unraveling this, and if I come across any more knots, then I will show you how I do that. Okay, so that is coming from the outside. This is where we might have a problem, is that it's just going to keep getting twisted up with the inside of the yarn as well. So just keep it loose, don't let it ravel around the ball too tightly, and keep twisting it off without it getting caught up in this first bit. What I will do is actually take some of this out and let it just sit on the table. You can see what it's doing there. Letting it sit there with, that's the original bit, that's the first piece of yarn coming out of the ball, and just letting it sit here on the table. That's another thing. If you do it on the sofa and it's all running out into your lap, then it's going to get so knotted you won't understand where it is or where it's come from. So just, if you can lay it out, you're in a better position to probably not have so many knots as you might have otherwise. Look at that. That's just come off so easily. And now I'm just going to wind that loosely around this ball here. Look at that. And I've got it going through my hand so that it's just catching anything, and I can feel it if there is a problem. There we are. Right, now we've got this bit here. And I cannot see the end. This is the thing. Where is the end? Where is that first bit of yarn? And I'm just pulling it apart. If there are massive knots in it, they will show, and it will be very obvious. But pulling it apart and feeling where the single points of yarn are can be really, really helpful. Now that's coming out, and if I pull this too tightly, then this bit may end up with a massive knot. But just gently, gently, gently pull it apart. Where are all the bits coming from? Gently, gently. There you go. And now I do believe we've got the end. Now this is the last bit. I'm just going to wind this lot onto the yarn now. There you go. Okay, so this bit may well be in a knot. Is it? Isn't it? No, it's not. That's fabulous. So what we have here now is the last bit of yarn, and I will wind that around. And what I sometimes do, if I pull out the yarn and then I've got a massive knot, so I've got the end, but the next bit is a massive knot, is what I'll do is actually use the ball winder and start creating a ball with the end of yarn. This is where you want to knit from, so that's perfect place to start winding a yarn ball, and I will just start doing that here. And then as I unravel, it can go on here. I can then take it from this and put it on the outside of the ball if I want to, but I can just very simply knit from this, and then when I've finished winding this part of the ball up, it will then end up going into the yarn ball here. So there are a couple of ways I will do this, but mostly it is so simple to just say, be gentle with it, take a breath. And if you're noticing that it's doing something like this, then if you need to, without getting too frustrated with it, just go and have a cup of tea, go for a walk, take a moment to calm down, because it will sort itself out. And if it is really, really knotted, it's exactly the same thing you need to do. Take hold of one bit at a time and gently tease it apart. Great, I hope you're all organised now and you can sort it out. It is just a case of being patient with it, taking your time with it, and this can happen at any point in your knitting, whether, like I showed you, you're just starting to knit and the yarn is pulling out and you just can't find the end, or whether you're halfway through and again the yarn gets all tangled. You just have to find the two end points and then smooth it out from in between those endpoints, and you'll find a little bit more ease. Generally speaking, once you get used to it, you'll find it a lot quicker over time to sort these out and get your needles clicking again. Okay, I do have one thing I'd love for you to do today. If you are into your knitting, you might be, if you're following me here. I'm opening a knitting kit shop, also going to have accessories and notebooks, all sorts of things that I will be releasing in a couple of weeks' time. So do go and have a look. If you click on the link below, you can sign up to the emails. I'll be releasing little sneaky peeks in my emails over the next few weeks, and of course there'll be a big release of everything when we open the shop. Fingers crossed that will be the 17th of September. Fingers crossed it all goes well and everything is released then. May have to wait a couple of days, but 17th of September is the date we have right now. And of course, if you're here After September 2020, then just go and have a look. We're getting ready to start selling knitting kits with everything you need, with a pattern, with the yarn, with the needles if you choose to get them, and anything else that you will need to knit particular items. So I'd love for you to go and have a look at them. Right. Thank you so much for joining me today. Again, do subscribe and click the little bell for notifications if you're brand new here and you think, I quite like this, I'm going to find out more about knitting, and you can go and have a look at all my playlists and all my videos are over there on my channel as well. Great. Thank you for joining me. I will see you again soon. Bye for now. Happy knitting.